Hi, welcome to North of 48. It's what is it, August 25th?
Yeah, the 25th.
25th, and summertime is glorious out in my backyard today. We're going to talk to Cameron and Charity, two people that we've been missing on their updates, and they're in Labelle province today in Quebec. And we have Cameron for right now, and Charity will be along shortly. Hi, Cameron. How are you?
Good. How are you? And
I'm okay.
We are in New Brunswick.
Oh, you're in New Brunswick already? You missed a
Yeah.
province without talking to me. A whole province.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shame on you kids. That's what I say. Shame on you. Well, you know, are you about where you thought you'd be this
Not
time?
at all. We thought we would be in Quebec still, and we would have been if we had to walk it every step, but we were advised to drive mostly through Quebec. So we did do a bit of walking, but nothing like what we planned on.
Really? And why would that be, my dear?
We got advised to walk through Quebec, or to drive mostly for our safety. They had some concerns with some of the
Policing agencies.
Yeah. So
And-
where we entered into Quebec was right in the thick of where Oka happened, obviously.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. And were there still bad feelings about Oka and stuff?
Well, when we heard about Oka, we were like tiny. So I remember Oka when I was
I do too.
when I was like a child, because I was very young, and the first lady that came up to and talked with us
was actually
was the spokesperson.
Yeah, Ellen Gabrielle was actually the first person we met when we crossed the border.
Wow.
That is border.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
And was it on her advice, or was it on the advice of tribal
No,
elders? Was it
we
on the
were-
RCMP?
We were getting this advice prior to entering Quebec.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got this advice when we were in Ottawa, and just we got it more than once. And we had one instance like right when we entered Quebec where we had people. Well, he was in the truck, so he didn't hear it, but somebody slowed down to like yell at me, right?
Right.
Which we haven't experienced none of that up until then. So
People were yelling at you.
yeah, they like slowed right down in the midst of traffic to yell at me while I was walking. Cameron was in the vehicle, so he didn't hear what they were saying, but yeah, so there was that. And then when we got into Quebec, and like we got that as well, the same advice when we got into Quebec was not to walk too much.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
amazing.
a little scary, eh?
It was amazing because we got to meet everybody because obviously the Oka only happened in the 90s. It's not very long ago. So
No, it's not very long ago. And actually we did a segment on Oka last year and went through it, and Indigenous lady who got knifed. Just a sad affair. Did they ever build a golf course, I wonder? I hope
No.
not. Good.
They have the 9 holes that is there still.
Right.
The graves are still there. Like nothing more happened there. So
that was quite the standoff. I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it vividly. So you came through. So let's let me back up and properly introduce you. This is Charity and Cameron. We're walking across Canada in search of to publicize missing and murdered Indigenous people. And I'm going to say people because it's men, women, and children. And they've been doing a fantastic job. We've been following them for weeks now. And did you get any publicity in Quebec at all? Did you say?
Yes, we did.
Did it say beware of these two people? Or
we got an interview for the Eastern Door. It's a newspaper.
Eastern Door, you say?
Yeah. So the lady that did it, she was absolutely amazing. The article is just unreal. It made me cry.
We actually had more than that. One of the warriors, I guess, one of our warriors, Indigenous warriors, so that we first met, and he got us in contact with news, our radio, newspaper, like he was on it.
Oh, really?
And so we did, we did get quite a bit in the English, like the Anglophone side. And then when we got into Quebec City, we had because we honestly thought it was going to be that maybe it wasn't that bad, so we decided that we were gonna walk some walks after we left Ganawagi there. And after we got to the other side of the Montreal, we started walking, and turns out it did, like, we had a bad experience, I guess. Or the truck started acting up, so we went to go to a mechanic in one of the communities in Quebec, and he didn't even want us.
He didn't even want me to go into the shop. He like stopped me right when I got out of the truck. I was outside the door talking to him and trying to explain what was wrong with the truck, and he's like, "Oh no!" He's like, "Oh, you guys can leave now." And
what? Really?
Oh.
Yeah, no, like literally we were shooed off the property. So at first it's like, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
And then that happened. I'm like, okay, maybe it is that bad, and we should just and the truck was acting up. So we our friend there got us in contact with a lady in Quebec City, Wendake Huron community. So we
yes,
went there.
I actually was it something about the wind, or I forget, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, so we went there, and they got us in contact with a great mechanic. They translated for us. They got us in contact with some media as well. So we were able to at least get the word out on what we're doing in Quebec into the francophone speaking.
Wow, that's awesome. So you got the truck put back together.
Yes.
With the help of the Huron tribe.
Yeah, with the help of the Hurons, and family from back home helped pay for the repairs. So that was amazing, because we weren't sure what we were going to do with that. That was a little stressful for us, but
we forgot about me in Montreal getting super sick there.
Yeah,
I heard about that. You were super sick in Montreal. And it's a great city to be sick in. I mean, if you're going to be sick, be sick in Montreal, Montreal. So what happened to you, my friend? That good French cuisine?
So we were talking to the Mohawk mothers, and after our conversation there, we were leaving, and I was getting cold in there, and then we got in the truck, and I got hot, and then I got cold again, and I couldn't move. I couldn't even get out of the truck.
Did you have the COVID? Was it the COVID? Tell me it wasn't the COVID.
No, it was him not listening to his wife. I had asked him time and time again to, let's go to the doctor. There's something wrong with you. Like, let's go to the doctor.
Overheating me.
He wouldn't listen. So he went on like this for about a month, almost a month and a half.
Wow.
And he was eating less and less. We were getting less and less kilometers in.
Right.
And then finally he couldn't move. So I was able to bring him to the doctor, and he was they said he was getting close to getting septic at that point. So sepsis.
Oh my.
Yeah, fun.
So you got antibiotics, got yourself fixed up? Is that what happened here?
A few banana bags, fluids, a few bags of antibiotics, and then 10 days of antibiotics. And so we stayed with a friend in Ganawagi until he was 100% this time. We did not go until he was 100%. So that was nice.
So for our American audience, what did it cost you being in a Quebec hospital with the provincial?
We told him
insurance.
We told him what we were doing, so the doctor let us off on that, and we only had to pay for a prescription was $14.
Okay.
But
And
what he did say is that he's like, you could pay because sometimes BC doesn't pay. And I'm
Right.
just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Like,
It's onerous sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, I have no idea what the policy is there, but I still know that I'm Canadian. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're in this
That's right.
country.
Well, Quebec provincial health is a little different than your average Canadian provincial health. So
Yeah.
is what it is. So I have
Healthcare was good. So
good. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you got yourself fixed up, got the truck fixed up, and
yes.
then you went on your way. So I've got a couple of I want to share with the audience here a couple of things I gleaned from your Facebook, if you don't mind.
By all means.
Okay, so we'll do that first.
Yes. Mm.
Oh, you son of a gun. Here we go. So walk across Canada, and this is on your Facebook.
Yes.
Then we have this.
You guys have noticed Cameron and I have been trying to keep the stories of our MMIE alive because they're not allowed on certain platforms anymore due to new laws. So if you guys want to help out and do the same thing, that would be great. I'm trying not to reference any, in there so that way they don't get removed.
Twitter doesn't do that. So if you don't use Facebook, or you go on Twitter and share them as well.
But we all know that the social media platforms that don't share them anymore in BC are the ones that most people look at. And I think this is especially important for recent people, but then people that have been gone for a while, I'm scared that their stories will be forgotten.
So what's that about?
so on Facebook, you have a new law where you can't really share news articles because you have to pay.
Well,
Trying to-
you know the new laws about sharing our media, social media, Facebook.
Right. New. Yeah. And Facebook was shutting down news. Being
Yes.
shared.
And to me, that's a huge concern because that's all of the news articles that we share on our missing and murdered Indigenous people, right? So these are all stories that are happening to the communities across the board. And not only that, there are a lot of similarities in a lot of these recent murders, especially in Prince George.
Right.
And I'm sure it's like that across the board. Obviously, I pay close attention to Prince George because that's where my home is. That's where my family is.
That's right.
But there's a lot of similarities, and the fact that it's not that people can't access this on Facebook anymore, or just the main media platforms that we use.
You
means
can on Twitter, but no one uses Twitter. But
Where's us old people going to get our news then if it's not on Facebook, right?
yeah,
Who are we going to know who to vote for? No.
Yeah, but for me, it's the youth. That's how you usually get them. That's how they usually see the news articles.
Okay,
And,
so
if there's a consistent occurrence of females getting stalked and reporting it to the RCMP, and it's nothing's getting done about it, and then they're being found dead in their houses. Like,
right.
People should know that.
Okay. Yes. We need to make this message get out there through podcasts, through YouTube, through Twitter, like you say, WhatsApp. I have another one I would like to show you.
This what?
Okay.
Hello.
So you met some people out there, and here's a nice picture.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's John. He's running across Canada, east to west for
Let me guess, for ginger abuse.
Yeah, close.
children's cancer. He came from New Zealand, I believe.
Yeah, and the other one there, those are our friends in Ganawagi. That was a walkout from their community. Yeah, that is
And they're
our friend.
marathon runners too, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
Timmy was, yeah.
Yeah. He says you were too fast for him there. And then you have this
Yeah.
this other couple here.
this is a wonderful couple we met in Nicolette.
Nicolette, yeah.
Yeah, so just as we were standing there talking, there was a motor vehicle accident close by, and I was talking with them and we translated, and I'm pretty sure she was actually talking about getting, like, she messaged me and she wanted to asked if she could share my story on the local media, and I was like, please do.
Awesome.
Yeah, great on the translation, and just had a really good conversation with Roxanne and Derek.
So you've been meeting some good people along the way.
Yeah, so
that conversation was on Google Translate. That's how we were mainly talking to them.
and that's how we found out Google Translate can be not very good sometimes, because we were lucky she knew English.
Okay.
But I was still doing the Google Translate because it was easier for them and easier for her partner there.
Right.
And and then when I was like, okay, I can't remember what I said. It was like not to put a damper on your day, because I just told them really like the sad story, the reason why we're walking.
Right.
And about my son's dad. And then I was like, but I guess we're gonna get going now. You guys take care, something along those lines. And Google Translate, she started laughing. She's like, it said the bad thing, it didn't say the good thing you said.
Oh, okay.
It told us to shut up. It told us to shut up.
Well, doesn't every Canadian know French though? Je m'appelle Walter. Bienvenue. Je Edmonton. That's about it. That's my grade 4 French right there.
Yeah,
I didn't take French. So.
I didn't take French.
No?
No.
Yeah. Oh, but I did find out that my great grandfather is buried in New Brunswick.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
where are you guys now? You I hope you can't hear
Edmonton.
Okay.
We are in Edmonton, New Brunswick.
Edmonton, New Brunswick. So how did you get across? Did you walk across the border? Did you drive across the Quebec border?
We drove across. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the plan in Edmonton, New Brunswick right now?
So we're gonna have a walkout tomorrow from the locals here. How do you say the
Madawaska.
Madawaskans?
And that's where you are now, right?
Yeah, that's where we are right now.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we make our way east towards Grand Falls. And we have a ceremony.
We're gonna be we got invited to ceremony. So we're gonna be doing that in Tobique, I think it's how you say it. Tobique. No,
Tobique or UE.
there.
Okay.
QUE.
All right. So you got things on the go there. Hopefully some New Brunswick local media.
Yeah, I was just getting a hold of Anne from CBC. She just messaged me just before we got on this call, so I have to return hers. And
Oh, well, we won't keep you much longer here. We sure appreciate the update, I'll tell you that. And
they did we sat down with them all day, the First Nation and some of the advocates here. So it's been great. One thing that we do want to communicate for sure on your platform here. I hope there's tons of allies or everything in the audience here, but Search the Landfills is doing a call out to all Indigenous communities, an international call out for, what is it, babe? Let's pull it up.
it's called Fill the Hills
Fill the Hill with Red, International
Day of Calling.
No, Day of Action for International Day of Action. And this is
on September 18th, they want everyone to go to their local parliament or
the provincial parliament.
legislature.
Yeah,
Yes.
and wear red and start the call out.
Here, I'll just
So that's what we're doing. We set one up for Fredericton,
yeah.
and we set one up. We're setting one up for Halifax as we come
Nova
across.
Scotia. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the goal here is to have everyone united across the board. These are all acts of genocide. The in custody deaths of our Indigenous people, not only Indigenous people, in custody deaths, the negligence in the healthcare system, the fact that I'm scared of a healthcare system, like I get worried when we had to go. Like that should not be how it is.
Mhm.
Lack of housing. There's so many things that when you put them all together and you look at the list that gives you the list that gives you a checklist as to if genocide's happening, that's exactly what's happening here.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so this is a call for all of these issues. Everybody, let's just go sit there, peacefully protest, and have a bit of a rally wherever you are. Go to your legislative building, and if there's not one plan one.
Okay. Could you send me the link to that?
Okay, so
Yeah,
oh yeah, and I'll just show it here so
Right.
everybody
Search the
knows.
Landfills International Day of Action, primarily caused by the Manitoba Winnipeg landfill, right?
That is the start, and we commend them. Like we look at the young lady there that's been working at this since she found out her mother was in the landfill from the serial killer,
Right.
and she's just a few years older than our son, right?
yeah.
Oh my.
She's just a few years older than our son. Like her, that's how relatable is that could be one of your kids standing out there having to fight day in and day out for the government to do the right thing, because landfill searches have been done. There are documented cases of it being done.
Right.
So and this is for missing and murdered Indigenous people. This as well is not just they're not forgetting about their men either.
Right.
Nor should any of us. It's you don't have a healthy household when your kids are taken away. You don't have a healthy household when your women are murdered or taken away, and you don't have a healthy household without your men.
Right.
You need that
No,
balance, right?
I agree with you. I'd like to I know we're running out of time here, but maybe we could talk next time on the reasons why people go missing. The causes, and I would really love to get a little bit more in depth on that.
Yes.
Mhm.
If you
That
don't
would-
mind, and because I think that's also important.
Well, when you go back to our very first interview, it hits a lot on there too. It's just like there's systemic racism
Yes.
in all levels.
Mhm.
And it's really sad that nothing's being done about that. And this is what this International Day of Action is. It's not only the landfills, it's about everything. It's the systemic racism, it's the missing and murdered, and it's
So September 18th is the very first day that Parliament's back in action there. So they'll be going back to work, and they're gonna have a a bunch of us like trying to get their attention.
Well, I hope so. You're
Yeah.
two very beautiful, spirited people. It's amazing what you've done, especially on short notice, like you said, when you decided to do this, and the awareness you're bringing to the community and to the whole country, actually, to be honest. So I'm quite happy to know you guys, and you keep strong, keep going on. We'll put some links if anybody wants to help.
Oh, we have a link tree as well now.
oh yes, Linktree is important.
What is a link tree?
So I'll explain it. So
Okay, explain
so
me the
if
link
you-
tree, buddy.
so I started a link tree that has all of our articles that I could find on like Google or whatever.
Right.
And it's one link where you click on it, it pulls up our page, And then you could be like, okay, something on TikTok. Oh, there's something on Facebook. Oh, there's a news article on CBC. There's a
Okay.
something on
So all these are
APTN.
connected through this link tree, right? And you can.
Yeah, so it'll be a full list of all of our articles.
Which
Well,
is
I'm
Oh,
on
sorry.
Facebook, Charity. If you want to send me those links, I'll make sure I give
Okay.
them on to the podcast. So thank you guys. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm grateful for what you're doing. You keep strong. I want to talk to you real soon, okay?
Okay.
If you
Okay.
guys don't mind, we'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take care. Everybody say goodbye to Charity and Cameron.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so thank you, Charity and Cameron. We're going to bring in Jim Earl and Martha Previte right away, but first we're going to listen to my dog in the background, of course. This is my cousin Single from Denmark.
Autumn in a golden hair, sunbeams fighting through despair, and in her mind she disappears with the autumn breeze, and sunny spells won't keep her here when the light starts to freeze before the raindrop falls. You hear the closing twilight in a homeless heart. Staying doesn't heal the scars. Your mind is always hunting grounds with greener grass, hoping for the winter feel to painfully pass. No, there ain't nothing left when my mind starts to fly. She goes hunting for feeling alive, craving stronger emotions, deep feelings inside. So she leaves without saying goodbye. Leaves without saying goodbye. Springtime in an icicle, freezing made us cynical. The earth will take another spin around the sun, as she is bound forever to a life on the run.
I said, hi, how are you guys?
Oh, well, we're doing great. Thank you for asking.
Oh, very much. I appreciate any time you guys can spend a little time with us. I honestly do. So I thank you
Well,
very
thank you.
much. Yeah.
Sorry, but that is all the time we have to
Oh,
spend.
I'm sorry. You said 7:30, so we
Hmm?
ran.
No.
Oh, yeah. I know we're. a
What was
little-
that?
We're a little.
Who did
bit-
that?
Yeah, you never mind there, big guy. Oh,
I like
so-
your studio. That looks
Yeah.
really pretty out there.
I'm starting to get goosebumps. It's starting to get chilly out here. We were about 20 today, and now I think we're down to 17. So I don't know what's that, about 70. How warm is it there? Do you guys got rain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We didn't
rained
have-
all day. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's too bad.
It's what is it here in Kennebunk? 65 degrees.
Is that?
Is that your shed behind you?
It could be the garage, maybe. You know, if I might have to break and go back into my home office here if I get too much cold. So
Do
appreciate.
you have mosquitoes out there?
Oh yes, but we have wind today, so I'm
Okay.
not getting
Yeah.
mosquitoes. Thank you
That's
so much
good.
for asking.
Sure.
I really appreciate that.
Do you-
I'm-
Do you
I
have
got-
malaria outbreaks out there too with your mosquitoes?
There, yes. The answer, I don't know if it's malaria. Is it typhoid, malaria? There's a disease in the mosquitoes that came up from the south, which is you guys. And because it's been so warm up here, the mosquitoes can survive and they do have some diseases, yes. Isn't that terrible?
How about deer ticks?
Oh yeah. No, we've got 3 kinds of ticks now, as well that, and the one that carries the Lyme disease, I don't know if that's prevalent up here, to be honest, but we do have some ticks up here and we have to check our animals for sure.
Okay.
And our people. We have to check our people. How's the garden growing, guys?
Mm,
Mm.
Still
Mm.
wet?
Mm.
Wet and
It's
soggy?
been, yeah, it's a disappointing garden year. It's a kind of a touchy subject. This year
Okay,
we've
so-
had just a lot of rain.
I shall not bring it up.
Brings up a lot of pain.
Yeah.
We're kind of
Well-
all the leaves are kind of waterlogged. The roots, if you
All the
live in
leaves
Kansas,
are brown.
The roots.
roots or the roots are
Ruts.
are too wet, so they're not absorbing the nutrients as they should, and so,
So a male route, would that be a male route or would that be a male root?
well, it depends. Is it a route that is it a route that you're taking or a root or that you're eating?
I have no idea. I know we have somebody from England on here, I think, but they probably won't tell us anyway. So
Well, what does England know?
English is shy.
Do you keep weird stuff in your shed because you're Canadian?
Yes, I have a plow from the farm from 1946 in my garage. That's my
Really?
grandpa used. They used to put horses to it. Well, actually, sorry, in 1939 or 40, somewhere around there. Yeah, and a guy tried to buy it from me, and I said, nope, yeah, Soviet, nope. Won't buy. Do I keep weird stuff? You know, I keep everything in there but the car. So, isn't that terrible?
I like the funny way you say car.
Well, I think let's get to some news for you guys to comment on. How about that?
Oh, sure. Are we recording yet?
We are.
Oh, geez, is my hair okay?
It hasn't been okay since 1979, I think. I could be wrong though.
You wish you could see. Do you want to see it next week? I'll show you a picture of what it looked like in 1979.
Sure, that
Okay.
would be good. Well, maybe we can
Actually,
auction that
Jim-
picture off.
Jim, why don't you go get it? It's in my it's in another room in the house. Why don't you go grab that photo on the dresser?
What, my prom foot? No, you're
Yeah.
not-
It's his
No.
prom photo. Everybody
I hope,
wants to
No.
you
see
had
it.
a perm. I'm hoping you had a perm.
no,
You had
I
a
did
Brady
not.
Bunch perm, didn't you?
I was a very beautiful young boy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're still a good-looking man, Jim. That's what
No
people
matter
say.
what they say.
That's right.
That's,
You wear glasses so you can look good. or see good.
sexual harassment. This harassment.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me get to some news for you guys to comment on. Okay, how about that?
Certainly.
Certainly. Whoops.
This is louder than David Moyer.
Mm.
Okay.
So here we have the Russian spaceship, first moon mission in 47 years that failed. It's smashed into the moon. Soft landing, it's supposed to be. But it smashed into the moon on August 20th. So I like this line. The apparatus moved into an unpredictable orbit and ceased to exist as a result of the collision on the moon. So they've asked India, because India had a successful moon landing, to check to see if Prigozhin was his DNA's out there, or if there's a body. So that's him in his space outfit. And this is the man in real life, who everybody is talking about. Here's with his wine collection, and here's a picture of a wing of his failed airplane. And here's some Russian commentary, Jim and Martha.
Горит вверху, самолет горит. И падает самолет. А? Глянь. Вон самолет падает. Вон еще, видишь, что-то падает рядом есть. А вон еще. А, это его куски. Жесть.
The sinister music behind it.
Это крылья, думаешь? Ты думаешь, второй тоже мертвый? Да один весь разорванный, а второй тоже? 1795 написано на крыльях.
Вон 2 человека валяется.
And here's a picture of the air crash itself. So I need to ask you, what are your thoughts? Do you think Prigozhin's still going? Is he still alive? Is he dead? Was he on that plane? They did find a body with missing a finger, just like him. But what's weird is they found a couple of bodies without heads. So the one without the finger, did he have a head? I don't know. Is this a sinister plot, or is he? Is the man dead? Jim and Martha.
Well, it's the worst in-flight movie ever.
You got no thoughts on that, my friend?
You know, things, airlines are crashing, getting into trouble all over the world, you know. A lot of people, a lot of pilots getting COVID, coming back with foggy heads.
That's what I
making
would say. That maybe
mistakes.
sorry, Jim, the pilot, maybe he had the jab.
I would blame the jab. It's got to be the COVID vaccine that's doing that.
Can I ask you about that? So the Canadian medical profession is saying don't get the booster yet, not till September, because they're redoing it. Do you guys plan to get the booster? Are you okay? Is this a thing?
Yes, we plan on getting it.
Okay. So
because we're not blithering idiots. And
fair enough.
Yeah,
we're not afraid of the microchips either.
No.
No microchips?
No,
Well,
we're not afraid of them.
Well,
I had the English job.
Yeah.
I don't want to even go there, but it was made.
A euphemism for something that happens to you in the Tower of London?
Well, how about so I have something else for you here. Can you see these guys on the screen here? Should I blow it up or are you good?
Oh, don't
Oh,
blow
yeah.
that up. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so these are your Republican representatives, my friend.
Mm,
Not mine. They're yours.
You're
They're yours, fella.
I don't
I'm-
want them.
I'm up in the north, not in the south. So,
Did you see the debate?
well, funny you should ask. I got a couple of clips. Can I show you?
Okay, sure.
Sure, he says.
Sure. What the hell, you know?
Be careful what you ask for, my friend. I just love the way he just stands there and smiles.
Governor DeSantis. Governor?
This is our time for choosing. We will send Joe Biden back to his basement and we will reverse the decline of this country.
Yeah, he's great.
Will he do that? Do you think?
Well, if Joe Biden doesn't, you know, send himself back to the basement, he's not
As
looking
long
good
as-
lately.
yeah. As
Get
long
out
as
of
he
the-
goes with him.
Get
To
out
the
of the basement,
basement.
Joe. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to another one.
I think they all should be in a basement.
I'd like
We're all
to-
going to be in a basement.
Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if
Vengeance and grievance against one man. You want to see him some more? I got another clip of this fellow.
I'd rather vote for vengeance and grievance. They sound like a great team.
That sounds like a band.
You know, let me tell you
No, I'm
something.
sorry. 30 seconds, Governor
You
Christie.
make me laugh because
goes
you
both
sit,
ways,
you
brother.
sit, you sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right. You sit here in an answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Well, so listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So let's just get through this section. Governor Christie.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order. And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not
And,
true.
Well, it is very true.
That is not
It's
true.
very true. I read it,
Because
and
there's
I
a
know.
difference
Look,
between
I
bad
know.
behavior and illegal
By the way,
behavior, Chris, and you as a
by the way,
prosecutor should know better.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot
There's
better.
a difference between
I
bad
know,
behavior. And
I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We've stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said,
your MSNBC contributors.
he said,
These are politicized indictments, and
Martha,
we have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand up for our Constitution, regardless of the political process.
So is he the one, Jim and Martha? What do you think?
Imagine how bad you have to be to make Chris Christie look good.
Well, is that the most you've seen of the?
Well, I didn't watch, but you know, Melania Trump watched it.
Oh,
and you know,
I have a clip of her husband too.
You want to know what she has to say about it?
I most certainly do. Hi, Melania. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Vali. Vali, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, dear?
Well, you know, I am okay. I am okay. Thank you for asking, though.
So, Melania, you said you saw the debate, right?
First of all, let me just say, for those of you who do not know me, it is I, former First Lady Melania Trump.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
We'd like to know
You
what you
asked
thought of
a
the debate.
question
Yes.
about the debates?
Yes.
The Republican debate?
Yes, the Republican debate.
Worst 8-way ever. Like in Melania short film, worst 8-way ever.
Okay. Oh,
Please, the fear pea smell was overpowering. Somebody crack a window is what I felt. Melania would rather watch Jerry Nadler crap his pants again for the 4th time this week, and it's only Tuesday.
well, actually, it's Friday, but yeah, we understand what you're saying.
Yes, my toenail is the best 4-time arrested president ever. Do not forget, he gave everyone a $1,200 bridge liquidity to live under. If you give him another erection to Pepsodent, more peoples will have bridges to live under with liquids. I promise this. Toenail will win. He has a wide load over all of the field. I say it again, he has a wide load over all of the field, okay?
You mean lead? It's got a wide lead, not a wide load, is what you're trying to say, right?
I really do not care, do you?
No.
And oh my God, the debate was so boring. There was not
boring?
one question about Mark Antony's yacht catching fire. Why is no one talking about this? The debate was so boring, not one question about why DJ Khaled still refuses to eat pussy. And not one question about the body they found in the river 300 yards from George Clooney's house. And another thing, not one question about that kid who went blind because he only ate Pringles French fries for 10 years.
Okay, those are some good points. So who do you think won the debate?
Who won the debate?
Mm-hmm.
The guy across the street who was whacking off to that 90s show instead of these bullshits. Am I right?
Well, okay, but what did you at least like the stage decor?
Give me a fucking break already. The stage was so tacky, right? I don't know who designed the stage, but I heard Mel Brooks is using it for Spaceballs 2. It looked like Robbie the Robot jerked off into a giant roulette wheel.
Uh-huh.
The next set of debates will take place at an arena in Texas, located deep inside Barbara Bush's cavernous cast iron womb.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good venue. Well, who do you think did best, though? Really, seriously, who do you think did best?
Oh, really? I don't know. But maybe who's that? Chris Krispy Kreme?
No, Governor Christie?
Yes, Krispy Kreme.
No, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey.
Krispy Kreme, whatever. But I still don't know who half these people were, and I am proud of it.
Okay,
You know, last night's debate was like listening to an announcement over the loudspeaker at Walmart's. Not a single thing was said that was helpful to the poor. And the fat guy nearly had a stroke, so I really liked it. And speaking of debates, after the World War II, the biggest debate in my hometown was who was sexier, skinny Hitler or fat Hitler?
Oh, that's you mean that's kind of like skinny Elvis or fat Elvis, right?
No, skinny Hitler or fat Hitler.
Okay, all right. Well, one last question, Melania. Did you help your husband prepare for his arrest in Georgia?
Yes, of course. I poured a pitcher of ice water down his pants while he passed out on a bucket of fried chickens.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Melania Trump, for all your time and your effort and everything you've done for this great country of ours and to initiate World War III.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy's. And you didn't ask me about his photos, his
Oh,
photograph.
his mugshot.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
what do you think
mugshot,
about?
the
Yeah,
mugshots?
what do you think of his mugshot?
Well, I think that's what he looks like when he can't find the remote.
Okay, well, that's been Melania Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Melania.
Yeah.
There's
Thank you.
there's Donald's mugshot right there. It looks like a mean dude, don't he?
Yeah, well, he did spend a lot of time posing,
You know,
practicing that.
prior to his arrest, he went and had a little sete with Tucker.
Thank you.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points. And, you know, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2. And I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that?
Here's one of my favorite clips right here.
I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bull. It's all bull.
It's all bullshit.
I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bull. It's all bull.
No, that's Jeopardy.
It seems that way, eh? You know, and and there's his mugshot again. Show it to you. So Melania Trump, after throwing the ice water down his pants. No wonder he looks pissed off, eh? Looks a little mad there. What do you think?
Well, you know, I think that's his best look. He's really happy, to tell you the truth, because he gets to scowl and have this publicity. And do you think Joe Biden's going to participate in any debates?
No, I don't think.
I think he's going to do the same thing Trump is doing for the same reason.
That's right. I'd like to talk about the Democratic candidates, but I really don't want to. So I don't know if you have anybody running against Joe. Is there anybody that comes to your mind?
Well, as soon as we find out what his views are on COVID and vaccines, Cornel West.
Okay.
You know, if he's going to be a wimp and not come out against science illiterate anti-vacciners, then there's no one, absolutely no one. I'll write in the ghost of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he's been actually quite quiet this run too, eh? I see he's still going out to strike events though, and union events, so good for him. Yeah.
Something no other Democrat is doing or has done in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I don't even know if did Ted Kennedy used to do that or no.
I don't really know. If anybody would have, I would think it would be Ted Kennedy, but
right,
who knows? They're all a bunch of cowards and duplicitous shit stains now. And it's pretty hopeless. It's pretty hopeless.
Well, that's true. You always got Melania though. You know, she'll bring some humor into your lives.
Well, she's a fresh new face.
She is.
And she's got a number of fresh faces in jars of formaldehyde, and she puts them on according to what her mood's going to be for the week. Because we have the technology for that.
We do. Yes, yes, sir. It's getting a little bright out here. The sun's going down. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Fall's coming, winter's coming there, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's already dark here.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, okay. Is there any questions from the peanut gallery, from the audience today? You know, they all said, oh, I want to ask Jim this. I want to ask Martha this. And then when it comes right to it, nobody wants to ask you guys anything because of your star power, your aura. They don't want to tick you off or anything.
They just don't have the guts.
They don't have the guts.
No one here has the guts,
right,
to stand up and ask me or Martha or Wallace a question?
Wallace, no, we don't do Wallace, Jim.
Wally?
James?
Wallacifer?
No, Walter, Wally, not Walt, not Wallace. We don't do that.
Nobody wants to ask the koala a question?
Ah,
Oh yeah.
So how's your koalas doing?
Oh, they're fine. We're trying to find some more, but
did you
know,
shoot yours, Jim? I see it hanging on your bookcase.
No, he's standing up. He's sitting on the bed.
Are you sure he's not stuffed and hanging there?
No, of course not.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
he's standing up.
And Martha. So did you guys do any more Instagrams with the koalas lately?
Not lately. It takes we have a lot of songs that we want to produce and make them sing.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to get the songs recorded and everything.
Right.
You know.
That's right. You guys, well, that last song that we showcased on here, I think 2 shows ago with the koalas, I thought that was really, the Smooth Brain, I thought that was really neat.
They do have smooth brains.
Right. Do you bring a singer in for Jim, Martha? Or
No, that's the koala singing.
oh God. Okay.
What is it with you? What is it with you anyway? It's the koalas. They're
Okay.
singing.
The koalas are singing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. Nobody from the audience is singing either. I must have maybe it's me. Could be me. You
They
know,
all fell asleep.
they all did. Boy, that sun's getting, I gotta duck down here. You know, I should have been wearing shades, I guess. I wanna thank you guys very much, unless you got something else on the go here. Coming up tonight.
Well, you wanted to talk about, I thought you wanted to talk about the Ukrainian
I did
internment
actually.
camps.
I wonder. Yes, I did. I thought we had too much on the go here, but I did.
Oh, okay.
But no, actually, if you got a minute, because
I was just wondering what you seem to not know about that last time we talked.
Yeah, you were correct. I was very, very surprised, and coming from a Slavic family, right? My wife's half Ukrainian.
Really?
Yeah. I live in the Ukrainian side of Edmonton. So
may I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Where does your wife stand on the current war between Russia and Ukraine, or does she?
Well, actually, we're both positive for the Ukrainian side, and I'll tell you that right now. And I've done some podcasts with that, and I've had some Russians and Ukrainians on the podcast. And podcasts you can find at Spotify, Anchor, and where your better podcasts are. I have more shows on there, but I've done some with Konstantin from Russia. We actually have Nicky Poroshin coming up, and he's a Russian living in Vietnam right now. And we've talked to Meta, who's the Congress for Peace, runs the Peace magazine. She lives in Canada, but she's from California, Berkeley. And no, I'm all for, my own personal view is, okay, give them the stuff. Let's get this done with. The more it drags out, the more people are getting killed. I think Russia is the way, I just think that's a dictatorship. And I think the Ukrainians have a right to kick these guys out. I don't know how positive a message that is for the Scott Ritter crowd, and I really don't care.
Give them what stuff?
Give them some weapons, give them some long range attackums. I'm thinking, because they've shown discipline in not attacking Russian cities except with Ukrainian drones, right? And they don't have, and the Air Force thing, perhaps those planes should have been out a little sooner.
And you really think the Russians are going, oh, that's a Ukrainian drone, not a
no, it is a Ukrainian drone.
Not a US funded drone.
No, they have, actually Ukrainians have they got big.
Do you really think they care? Do you really think they care one way or another?
Ukraine was the missile and war machine factory for the USSR, right? And they still have quite a few things. This is my own personal opinion, and I'm more than willing to listen to other people's opinion. But I'm this piecemeal effort we're doing. I'm not liking it. I think more people are getting killed. They waited too long. The Russians have mined everything. I'd like to see peace, them sue for peace, but I'm to the point, get the Russians out of there. That's how I feel. And, you know, logically I can think otherwise, but that's the way I feel right now. I don't know if that's something you guys feel like either, because I can tell the American money going into there would be better spent at home. Here's the problem. It won't be
Certainly would.
It won't be spent at home. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's no excuse to waste it.
I hear you. I think it's
and I feel like this is another
go ahead,
ruthless proxy war that we're getting involved in, just like we ruined the country of Vietnam. We bombed that place.
I remember
up and down.
Americans
and also
leaving the U.S. and coming up here to Canada. I actually remember that quite vividly, and that stopped me from going into the army too. Was what they when I was
my mother was about to drive one of my brothers up to Canada too before he got his lottery number.
North of Prince George, there's a town built by American soldiers who were protesting the war.
But I don't think I think what we're doing is hurting Ukraine and Ukrainians more than helping them. I think we're setting them up for a slaughter. The only way to get rid of the Russians is to send in outside troops and to commit fully to this war, which is also
problematic. You
know, problematic because it's setting the world up for nuclear annihilation, and I don't think that's worth it. You know, I'm sorry about Ukraine. I think what Russia is doing is a war crime.
Right.
But I also think what we're doing is a war crime. We're sending cluster bombs over there.
Yes, we are.
That is the definition of a war crime.
Right.
$20 billion it would end homelessness here in America. And we're sending upwards of $100 billion over there to slaughter people and to slaughter Ukrainians. The country is destroyed. This is pretty much what Russia threatened.
It is the most mined country in the world right now, right? And Canada,
it's destroyed.
Canada is the second diaspora of Ukrainians here. We got over 1 million Ukrainians here in Canada.
I don't think Russia is ever going to stop until they completely obliterate any type of opposition in Ukraine. I think things would have been better off if we hadn't surrounded Russia's borders with NATO troops and conducted war games with our own troops right on their borders after they've spent 2 world wars getting slaughtered and having the Nazis kill over 27 million of their people.
But look what's happened to Russia, though. They wanted to be part of the Western world, and now they're backwards now. Their ruble is worth crap. Their people have fled.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how many Russians have been killed in this war. 500,000 or something. 300 to 500,000. They've been getting in 22,000 a month of soldiers into the army, and then they're going to call for apparently a draft in the fall, which would be another 350,000. So that's kind of my point is if you're going to do a war, if you're going to do this, just do it right, get her done with, or else then you're going to get more people are bleeding. That's the way.
When has it ever done the world or America, our country, any good for interfering in another in 2 countries' wars against each other?
Well,
when has it worked?
That's true. In 1812, you tried to interfere with us, and we said no.
Yeah,
get the heck out.
So,
but
these are Korea. We destroyed. We burned down and bombed every town and village in Korea.
Right.
And look where it is today. And we did the same thing. We slaughtered Koreans left and right, south and north.
Okay.
Did the same thing with Vietnam because we thought they needed our help.
Right.
And I think in the long run, it's better to avoid the possibility of nuclear annihilation, world annihilation, nuclear winter. By giving the Russians what they want.
Jesus Christ. Excuse my language. I don't buy the nuclear thing. I think I should, but I don't. Do you think they would honestly use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine?
Yes.
No?
Yes, I do.
So? Okay.
They've
that's fair.
threatened it. We've threatened it. I mean, we've wanted to use them in Vietnam. We've already used it twice.
Right.
And tactical nuclear weapons, when they put the qualifier of tactical, that means they're very serious about, well, we could use it here.
Yeah.
And it won't affect the rest of the world. Well, yeah, it will affect the rest of the world.
The thing about using nuclear weapons in Japan, Japan still wasn't going to wave the white flag till the Russians hit the islands, and they decided, oh, we better surrender to the Americans rather than the Russians. So even the nuclear bomb apparently didn't make them put up surrender. So
yeah,
getting back, I mean, that's we could have different views. I respect your view very much. I really do, and I take that into consideration. I'm just going a little bit on feelings here too as well, because I've got family in Belarus, Ukraine, and Poland, right?
Yeah.
And
so do well. My sister-in-law fled Ukraine.
Oh, did she? Is she in Edmonton? This is where all the Ukrainians come.
No, she came to Texas, of all god awful places.
You never go to Texas.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to Texas.
Well, she did. Okay. And she's an avid Trumper. Lives in Florida now, but that's a long story.
These right-wing Ukrainians, eh?
But how many ethnicities are there in Ukraine? And it seems
quite
like
a few, actually, to be honest.
We're getting involved in something like that. It's like us getting involved in Afghanistan.
That's the thing is, how do you stop a country that has a nuclear weapon from overrunning other countries? Then how do you do that? How do you stop a bully?
Well, you should ask the United States that.
Well,
because
I'm actually
we are the world's
at
bully.
The United States here. Yes.
We are the world's bully.
What goes for Russia goes for the States. How do you stop that?
Well, what goes for Russia is like 1/3 of the military budget of the United States. They have nowhere near. We have over 700 military bases around the world.
Yes.
Our military is the biggest polluter.
Yes.
The biggest polluter on earth.
Well, that's true too. But the Russians have also showed a particular affinity for corruption and graft.
Well, so have we. I mean, all we do is support corrupt administrations and dictatorships around the world and overthrow democracies. Do you think once and if Ukraine wins, or whatever winning is, that we will take our evil fangs out of that country and let a true democracy flourish? What supposes the democracy that wants to socialize its natural resources,
like Venezuela?
Yeah. We won't let that happen.
No,
not on earth. Not the people.
And you have it from geez, I can't remember the names right now. Was it El Salvador? But
yeah,
getting back to the Ukrainian and people of Eastern European descent were interned across Canada during 1914 to 1920. So after you talked about that, I was thinking more on the Doukhobors, which are actually from Belarus and Russia, which is a religious sect. And I was very surprised on this because there was 8,500 enemy aliens, of which 5,000 were Ukrainians who had immigrated to Canada. And they were coming from the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time, First World War, right? Britain had told Canada that these guys are helping us, so treat them nice, right? Canada had other ideas and put them to work as forced laborers. They developed Banff National Park, the logging industry in Northern Ontario and Quebec, the steel mills in Nova Scotia, and the mines in British Columbia, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. And from reading it too as well, there was actually quite a few suicides from people who didn't want to be interned in these camps or into forced labor.
Yeah.
So
that's part of the anti-slave. My big larger point here is that there is anti-Slav racism.
Yes.
And it has existed for centuries, and especially among Western Europe and North America. It is, and to me, it is at the root of the anti-Russia hysteria that has happened since the beginning of the last century during the revolutions, because it also is rooted in anti-Semitism too, because there's always the specter of not just the Bolsheviks coming to take over our country, but the Jewish Bolsheviks. That was, and that's part of what I think is going on in the long run with during the Cold War, the Cold War hysteria against Russia, and the same thing re-emerging since the 2016 election. And I think America's primary highest intellectual understanding of what they think a Russian is rooted in Boris and Natasha and James Bond villains and Rocky Balboa's nemesis. What was his name? Ivan Drago in Rocky 3. I think that's all the understanding they have of Russians. They're robotic, they're evil.
Mm-hmm.
What was James Clapper called them? James Clapper said they have a genetic not disability, or a genetic disposition for deceit and evil, basically. So that's, I think a lot of this is, people don't want to say that, but
well,
we can't ignore that because it's been happening for hundreds of years.
Right.
And it's disturbing when I hear people talk, the way Americans talk about Russians is really disgusting because they don't know the Russian people. The Russian leaders, that's different.
Right.
But if you talk that way.
Like people had this champagne idea with communism, right? I would contend that Stalin and those guys, they were never communists. They were more dictatorships.
I agree.
Combines, same as China. That's not a communist system. It's a dictatorial from the top down system. North Korea.
Yes. Yeah.
So socialism is probably as close as you're going to get to any fair society, I would think, or at least where the funds from the public will go to help the public. Hey, sorry.
You whistling at me?
No, and my dog. But
hungry?
no, she needs to run and play and stuff like that. But we're getting off topic. But the Ukrainian thing up here in Canada, no, I had no idea. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. And but I do remember, like, my dad and his brothers, there was quite a bit of Slavic hate ribbing in Edmonton at the time. And people older than him, there was a tent city of Ukrainians here while they were building on the outskirts of town. And but they built a big community, and actually we have Ukrainian Heritage Days here now too, right? And Slavic and stuff like that. So it takes time, but it's accepted, right?
There's a big Ukrainian population in Los Angeles, and in the old neighborhood where I live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just think I just think you can't get past what World War II. The attitude of Western leaders in democracies towards Russia and Russians in general, Slavic peoples. It was the goal of Nazi Germany to annihilate the Russian population and or use them as slaves because they were subhuman in their eyes. And I think Churchill debated whether or not to, whether or not it would be a good thing, a better thing to let Hitler completely reach his goal in Russia,
right?
Before before stopping it. And
yeah, they all have that. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But they did eventually come to an agreement that to try to stop it, right? So kind of like what I'm thinking about Ukraine, Jim. We got to stop this.
Well,
and how is it going to be stopped? Well, if we're not going to go in there, could we help them a little more, weapons wise?
I don't think we're helping. I don't think
capable. So
I don't think we're helping people by setting them up for slaughter.
I agree.
And that's what
I wish this did not happen at the time. Well, don't forget, everybody thought it'd be over in 2 weeks, right? And
they say that about every stupid ass war.
Yes, that's right. Putin said 3 days.
Civil War, World War One,
right? That's
World War
true.
II, even.
I mean, they could have hindsight could have ceded Crimea, could have ceded the Donbass, and life would have went on, and people would have survived. And then the other way is, would the Russians have stopped there? Well, for a while.
Well, it's who knows? But I don't.
Yes.
When you see a rabid monkey, you don't go and poke them. You leave them alone, or you don't.
Is that an innuendo right there?
Are
you poking a rabid monkey?
I have to say, you've got a huge country full of nuclear warheads aimed straight at us right now.
Yes.
And vice versa. Yeah. And when you surround them with Western armies, and that's a provocation, after they lost 27 million people to the Nazis in World War II, because they were invaded by the same Western nations who are part of NATO.
Right. And
Germany.
And they threw people at the problem, much like they're doing now. Did they have to lose that many 27 million people? I would say no. If they were smarter with it, instead, they give a farmer a stick or a rake and say, go get them. And what are the Nazis doing? They shot so many people. Those guys the Nazis were shell shocked. They couldn't shoot anymore because they shot so many.
Yeah, but the only thing that stopped the Nazis was the winter and the Russians throwing themselves at them.
Yeah, which begs another question: why would a guy become a Russian soldier? I mean, obviously. I mean, why?
Well, I think right now,
yeah.
Aside from all the stupid reasons people become soldiers, some of them may honestly have the honest belief that they're being threatened by Western nations.
Fair enough.
Just like they were in 2 world wars.
Right. But the soldiers.
And also,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And also, it's kind of a weird thing that less than 4 years ago, in 2016, there were numerous articles, and the Anti-Defamation League condemned the Nazi affiliations going on within Ukraine itself, and the Azov Battalion, and the national hero has his own holiday, 75, what is it, 75% favorability rating for
very
Bandera.
very
Who-
small percentage in the politics of the Nazi party. There's more Nazis in Russia, and actually they just got one. They just shot one down, so they denazified Russia by shooting down Berezhin.
Well, there are a lot of,
There's a lot of Nazis in Russia, my friend.
yeah, but you have a country, Ukraine, who has a national holiday and with a 74% favorability rating
For that
of an
for that fellow.
SS collaborator
Right,
who
but
killed tens of thousands of Jews during World War II. What is that about?
politically, though, for the people who or their MPs or their elected officials, there was only 2% in their society that were affiliated with the Azov or Nazis.
Yeah, but the
So, which is
favorability
less
rating
than-
of its total population. though.
Right.
That's
Well, that's true. Well, we got Sir John A. Macdonald that we were quite fond of, and he used to get drunk in the alley as prime minister behind the Parliament building. So
what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, my friend, and there's nothing wrong with you or Martha. It's a delight to see you guys. Can we continue this conversation down the road?
Oh, sure.
I appreciate it.
I'm a peacenik.
You are
basically.
very much. I'm a
Hippie.
passive. I'm a tree
So is
hugger, but
Martha.
I will cut a tree down. So
Mhm.
I just don't believe in putting on any uniform. I think it's a disgraceful and dehumanizing thing. I don't think
admire
there's
that.
I don't believe
Yeah.
in guns. I don't believe in shooting people,
Yes.
whether it's for any
use
reason.
use a stick. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Don't shoot them. No. I
Mano a
don't.
mano.
Yeah, I don't believe in that either. So,
No.
but no, I think we can all agree on that, and we can all agree that there shouldn't be a war right now, right? And people should
I
be
believe in ceasefire.
okay.
Yeah.
Live and let live, I say.
absolutely.
And I hope you guys live well this week and for future weeks to come.
Live well and
Yes. Prosper.
live well and prosper. What is that?
That is that Hawaii? No.
The telephone.
All right. Are there any final words or thoughts you want to express to us before we you can watch Superman. Superman's coming up here. Superman black and white serial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the 40s?
From
The one
1947.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah. And I like you guys. So
Feelings mutual.
Thanks, Wally. We like you
Hey.
too.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
A.
Eh?
Hey. And okay. Well, you guys take care.
North of 48, eh? Do you have Wally, do you have a YouTube page?
I do. We are you're on YouTube on my YouTube every week. And like I am so grateful for any time that you guys have or to talk. And then I learned stuff, especially about Ukraine, which I should have learned before, but I didn't. So I appreciate that. Yes, it is. And
Great.
we put you guys on YouTube, and I cut out Jim's bad parts when he's not funny. I have to cut, so it makes it a really short episode. No, I'm joking, Jim.
We gotten any death threats on that yet in the comment section?
No, not at all.
Oh, come on.
I know, that's what I say. Okay, well,
All right. Well, hey, everybody, wear a mask.
wear a mask. Everybody say thank you to Jim and Martha.
Thank you, Jim and
Thank you.
Martha.
Thanks, everybody.
Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Martha.
Thank you, everybody, for putting up with us.
Don't get sick. It was waste of time.